G'day, my name is Rory Bland. In this video, I'm going to share with you how I grew a following of over 140,000 in less than 90 days using Instagram Reels, and how I gained over 400,000 followers using Reels, Talks, and Shorts. This is all without dancing, trends, trending audios, collabs, giving Zuckerberg your money, shoutouts from bigger pages, and thirst traps. The cool thing is that when you finally crack the code around short form content creation, you literally can break free from that 200, 300 view jail, and you can start reaping the rewards of what creating good content gets you. And this is what happens when you unlock a large and engaged audience. Views, money, followers, and one thing I'll add on there as well is impacts. It unlocks the world. After posting hundreds of videos, I feel like I finally cracked the code and now have over 100 million views across my channels. My goal for this video is for you to learn something new that you can implement into your content straight away. And I have nothing to sell you, except my course. But I'll tell you more about that later, or if you want, there is a link down in the description. But if you never give me a cent, you will get a lot of info out of this. In fact, this person gave me $0 and she still got great results. She built a following of over 60,000 and on a cheeky Sunday earned an extra 1,500. In this video, we've got quite a lot to cover. I'm gonna get started with my journey and my story, how I got into content creation and how I got into short form content creation. We'll also talk a little bit about the history of TikTok, Instagram, and then we move into the strategy. We move into how to create a viral video from scratch with my format. We look into the algorithm, the different platforms. We look at the signature series method, which is behind my success. And then we look at some advanced strategies eventually and some monetization. Buckle your seatbelts, boys and girls. We're gonna get into it. My name is Rory Bland. I'm 34 years old. I live in Brisbane, Australia. I have a son, love of my life. I have a couple of cats who are my furry loves of my life. And I'm a content creator. I absolutely love talking content creation, creating content. It's my jam, and my results speak for themselves. I've got over 100 million views across all my videos and over 500,000 followers across the different platforms and different accounts. And I truly feel like I'm just getting started. My long-term passions is really moving into children's education and also things like regenerative farming. So everything that I do kind of feeds into that goal and that future goal of making that impact in that way. My overnight success, it started a long time ago. It's taken me over 10 years. In fact, my first piece of content that I created on YouTube was in 2006. All right, this is a rollerblading video back in the day, skating with my mates. My first official YouTuber type video was end of 2011, and I'll show you an example in a sec.
Hey, I'm all about whole foods, and today I'm going to show you how to eat a dragon fruit.
Anyway, you get the point. I did end up creating a couple of videos that were kind of good.
In the health food store, I walk in rich, then I walk out poor. And with my smoothie blender, I'm the #1 organic planet Earth defender. Cause I've replaced everything in my house with essential oils.
That's enough. I won't do that to you anymore. Those videos, very small views, very small amount of followers, but I started to get a little bit of traction and some opportunities opened up to work with health companies. I had like ads in health papers. So this was one of my first sponsors. I was running events around Australia, and yeah, this was me. It was called the Whole Food Dude, and this is the route that I was starting to go in. But someone told me that I believed in and looked up to. He said, you're not going to make the kind of money you want to make as a food creator. You should go into social media management and teaching social media. So I did. I quit. Didn't believe in myself, and I basically did freelancing. I was a struggling freelancer for a long time after that. In 2019, short form video changed the game forever. Not just for the world, but also for me. This is when TikTok was like starting to crank, right? And it was just before the whole global panini. TikTok jumped up, and it's just like, that's crazy amounts of people that are downloading. This is downloads, right? And the amount of people using this app was insane. Everyone was down on their phones and they were zoned in on the talk. And because it was so culturally significant. It was so pivotal. It was extracting a large amount of attention away from YouTube and Instagram and the other apps. So they had to fight back. And that's when Instagram and YouTube introduced their Reels and Shorts program. And TikTok was really powerful because it wasn't just about, hey, let's send the videos to your existing followers. It was focused on outreaching and finding new audience. So the predominance of your videos wouldn't just reach the exact audience that you've got. It would be like, hey, let's find new people. Hey, let's find new people. And the algorithm was insane. In early days, it was like you could almost post anything and it would do well. I think it was my second or third video on TikTok, I got like 20, 30,000 views, which back then I was like, holy moly, it's crazy. I had no idea why. I was like, oh, this is sick. I didn't really think much of it. It took me a year, literally, of like consuming content and being on those apps before I decided to actually take TikTok seriously. But we'll get into that in a sec. But once Instagram introduced its Reels product, and I mean, same for YouTube Shorts, I don't have the stats for it here, but Instagram, the average monthly users basically doubled in the course of the next couple of years, which is insane. 2.5 billion people using an app. The power of these apps is crazy. People are just glued into the matrix of the phone void, which makes it a perfect place to advertise for free. Remember, all of this is free. You don't have to pay a cent at all. But end of 2020, this is when I started to explore TikTok. I was making rollerblading videos every day for fun. Here's an example of the kind of style of video that I was making for the rollerblading thing.
Welcome to day 9 of 365 days of rollerblading. Tonight we went to Paddington Park for our Wednesday night skate session.
It was around the format of day 1 of 365 days of rollerblading. And I didn't, of course we all want to monetize our channels and make money and all that sort of stuff, but my core focus was actually just having fun and expressing myself outside of doing work for clients and freelancing and that sort of stuff. It took a while initially, a month or 6 weeks to reach my first 1,000 followers. Eventually, I grew it to 30,000 followers in 8 months with this daily signature series. I was getting recognized at skate parks, I got like a government grant, I was starting to sell merch. Things were starting to flow for me. I was getting noticed in the industry and I was making an impact, you know? People were getting into rollerblading, people were creating rollerblading content, it inspired people. It was creating a bit of momentum, but my passion for it fizzled out. I fulfilled a 16-year-old version of Rory's dream, and I was rollerblading every day, making a little bit of money, helping people, doing my passion. So I quit, and I actually deleted the account because I didn't want to be known as the rollerblading guy anymore. Even though I was at the skate park literally yesterday with my son, 3 years later, someone still recognizes me from those series, right? Once you become known, you can't unbecome known. So warning, this stuff is very powerful. Then I grew a homesteading TikTok to 30K in 3 weeks, and I started this video off. Basically, the context behind this is when 2021, when food shortage supplies were going on, and you know, we're all like, oh my gosh, like where things are going to go. Is this the end times? It's a bit, you're a bit early, right? So I was like, all right, I'm going to start like getting self-sufficient and document the journey, and then eventually maybe I can monetize it, right? Maybe it can lead to me actually inspiring others. Maybe it can lead to me making an income out of it. Who knows where it can go? Maybe it could lead to me buying property one day. So I spent a lot of time preparing that very first video, hours and hours and hours. Watch this video, you'll see in a sec.
G'day everyone, my name is Rory and welcome to my homestead in the burbs of Australia. As you can see, there's not much going on, but I believe that with a whole lot of love and intention, I can turn this seed into my dream of 1,000 farmland acres for me, my family, and my community, so I can become fully self-sufficient. But I'm starting from scratch, like there is literally nothing growing in my yard except for grass. And in fact, I've even killed a few plants in my lifetime. I even killed a cactus once. However, with all the craziness going on in the world, I thought it was really important to grow my own food and become as self-reliable as possible. I'll be showing the entire journey here on TikTok and my YouTube channel, and hopefully I can inspire you to do the same.
Okay, that video there, within 48 hours, gained me 10,000 followers. And within 3 weeks from posting in this account, I gained 30,000. So instead of, remember, this took me 8 months versus 3 weeks. I shortened the learning curve, saved me 7.25 months or whatever it is, maths wise, which is crazy. I was like, this is very interesting. So I took it to a client that I was doing stuff with at the time. And I took them from 1.6K to over, what was it, 107K in 5 weeks. And they were already paying an agency good money and they weren't getting any traction. And then your boy comes in And one of those videos I made got 14.2 million views. Now, I have to admit, at the time, I was fluking a little bit. I had, you know, when you're getting started, you're testing things. You're throwing mud at a brick wall. I created a series around things you can make in your blender or something like that. And this one, I didn't get their approval on the concept or the video before I made it. I just went out and did a bunch of random things. And the video just exploded. Actually, let's roll that video. Bring up the clip, Jamie.
Stop buying almond milk from the stores if the ingredient list looks like this. All you need is really 4 ingredients. First step, grab your nuts. If you want it to be easier to digest, we highly recommend soaking them for 12 hours and then rinsing and draining just like rice. Then when you're ready, throw everything into your optimum blender. If you want it to be creamier, add less water. If you want it to be sweeter or less sweeter, do what you want. And then blend it for 45 seconds. Grab your nut milk bag. Pour all the liquid into the nut milk bag, make sure you have a bowl underneath you, and then just start straining all the milk out. By the way, this is how you milk an almond. Squeeze every last little bit of goodness out. This is the pulp. We've got recipes coming soon on how to use them, but until then, just pour it into a nice tall glass jar, something like that, and then store in your fridge. Follow for more recipes.
Crazy, right? I mean, you could, if you understand content creation, you'll understand why I got 14 million views, but I was like, aha, all right, let's give it a go. So, what I did was I decided to actually bring these viral strategies into my own content again, properly, and start to commit to creating my own content. That is when my first video on my own account, it was converted from Rory's homestead to Rory's kitchen. This new style, 4.9 million views. I did it again, the second video got like 600,000, but my third video, this is on TikTok, it gained me 9.7 million views. Roll the clip.
I tried the line diet 24 hours.
Just beef and salt and water. That's it.
The carnivore diet is trending on social media right now. People are experiencing all sorts of benefits and seemingly miraculous health turnarounds.
My depression went away. My fatigue went away for the first time since grade 8.
I stopped snoring the first week, and my psoriasis disappeared.
As someone who is intolerant to everything under the sun, I felt it was my duty to try this diet to see if it would fix any of my health problems. I started the day with some filtered water and then a nice grass-fed rump steak that I got from my local butcher, which was absolutely delicious. I saved the leftovers and then cooked a second rump just in case for later.
I'll finish it later.
Throughout the day, I drank so much water. For a late lunch, I had the rest of the rump. For dinner, I had a bowl of beef mince, which was actually pretty yum. And that was it for food for the day. But what are the results after 24 hours? Well, to be honest, I had the best sleep and felt better than I have in such a long time. Before I do the carnivore diet for 30 days, I wanted to test it out, and that's why.
This video is also responsible for 100,000 followers, which is crazy. And it got me in a couple of publications online, started building connection. But what people don't realize is that a lot of it was calculated. I spent hours working on this video. I spent an hour working on the first 7 seconds just to make sure I had the hook right and everything like that, sound design.
I tried the line diet 24 hours.
Just beef and salt and water. That's it.
And it was worth it because it took off. But this was the pilot for my carnivore series. And I was actually legitimate when I was trying this because I was sick of my health issues bothering me. And I decided to give it a crack. I felt really good. The video did really well. So I decided to dive into my 30-day carnivore series. Now, if you missed this series while it was live, I'm sorry about that. But this is a sample of what it was like, but basically I documented my journey using carnivore and GAPS to start healing my inflammation, health issues, etc.
Today is day 1 of 30 days of the carnivore diet, but I would not be eating anything raw.
Nope.
I'll show you exactly what I'll be eating shortly, but why though? I'm doing the carnivore version of the GAPS diet for 30 days to answer 3 core questions. 1. Can I heal my inflamed and leaky gut, autoimmune symptoms and health conditions? 2. What happens to my body only eating meat for 30 days? And 3. What are my poos going to be like? After the 30-day elimination diet, I intend to slowly introduce some veggies, maybe fruits, as per the GAPS diet protocol, but I'll keep you posted. Until then, I'll just be consuming meat stock, and salt and water. No seasonings or nothing. No cheat days either. Sounds boring, but when you react to almost anything you eat and you feel like sleeping after every meal, health becomes a lot more important than taste.
It actually tastes really good.
Today I prepared my food for the entire week, so all I have to do is heat and eat. Going to be a huge time saver, and I'm far less likely to fail if I'm prepared. I did have a flare-up of my itchy skin, but it went away. It's not from the meat, it's just because it's not healed yet. My bowel movements were actually normal. And despite going to bed late, my energy levels were actually alright all day. Anyway, stay tuned for day 2.
Later.
That was my series and it changed my life in so many ways. But the thing is, so I uploaded this was all on TikTok. And the other platforms, I was just repurposing. I didn't really intend for it to blow up on Instagram or Facebook, but that's what happened. Was I gained 400,000 across the platforms and 50 plus million views just within this 90 days. Crazy, 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 just from repurposing. And in fact, even though TikTok is currently my biggest follower, 240 something thousand, my strongest is Instagram in terms of the connections and depth with the audience that I built. Right? So you just don't know. This is why in part of when I teach people content, you must repurpose across all of the platforms, okay? This is what it's unlocked for me. Money. Sponsorships as well. I got to do some sponsorship deals with some of my favorite brands and new brands I didn't know existed. I built a strong community of people who were engaged in my content, passive income through affiliate marketing and AdSense and stuff like that, authority in my niche and connections with peers in the industry, huge one for me. People that I looked up to now became homies. My message began helping thousands of people around the world. During my series and after, and even still to this day, I've had so many people, easily over 100 that I can count, that have messaged me saying, hey, thank you so much, this has really helped me with my health. And then obviously the lurkers that haven't even said a thing. But I was at a movie world, which is like a theme park with me and my son, and someone came up to me after the Bugs Bunny parade and was like, hey, are you Rory? I was like, yeah, I am. She said, I started following the Gaps thing thanks to your series, and I didn't have to get gallbladder surgery. I'm like, yo, that's crazy, right? Improved her gut health, changed her life. Just from me nailing and figuring out the format of a good video and a signature series. I was like, all right, cool. I also gained the knowledge of being able to replicate my success in any niche, even if I started from scratch again and nobody knew me. So I'm very confident that if you gave me an account and I could build it from scratch, so that's a pretty cool skill. And I also built a platform for me to launch my new business, which is coming towards the end of the year. And that is going to be an absolute banger. So a stack of things, right? That's just a surface level. But why am I sharing this with you? Why am I sharing about content creation and behind the scenes? Well, the truth is that I actually really love talking to others about content strategy. And in fact, after things blew up, I felt a little bit lost, right? I hit this huge goal of becoming a content creator full-time, and then I didn't really know which direction to take. So I actually started to lean into consulting and speaking to people about their content. I didn't plan on being a, short form content guru, or I didn't even want to, but I just had a lot of people that were interested. Plus, I also saw that there are so many business owners and creators that are stuck, or aspiring creators stuck in that 300 view jail. They just put so much time and effort into creating content and it just flops. I wanted to help others fast track their learning curve with short form content, because I'm like, all right, cool. I got a skill, I got knowledge. If I can save 7 months of someone's life, fantastic. And to help others grow their businesses with organic content, right? Very passionate about all of those things. And I felt a sense of purpose with helping business owners with their content that I didn't feel anymore in my personal brand. And again, C.1, I love talking to business owners about content strategy and creators. And also so you buy my course. I'm just kidding. So instead of just throwing mud at a brick wall, or the wrong kind of mud at the wrong kind of wall, I want to share with you my recipe, my content recipe. And this is in a nutshell. This is a condensed version, trying to make this video as short as possible. It's basically a combination of this viral video formula that I figured out and a signature series. Equals rocket time. Before we do this, you really have to figure out why. What is your intention behind you creating content on these things? Obviously, we want to make money, right? But what is the specific intention behind a piece of content or that series? What outcomes are you trying to drive within your business? It's very important to get clear about that. And have something to sell, right? Because if you are building, I don't understand why people build an audience if they don't plan on selling anything. It's so important to have a business mindset when you're creating content. And I feel like it's better to figure out the business side first, in my opinion, right? Is figure out what do you want to sell first, right? And then create content to sell that. A lot of people do it the other way around, and I've got nothing against that because that's kind of part of my journey too. But a lot of people will become a creator, they get big following, and then they'll figure out the monetization after. But I've known people with a lot of followers who've had to go back to jobs. Nothing wrong with jobs, but if you have like 1 million followers, hundreds of thousands of followers, you don't need to go back to your job if you know how to like monetize with the right product. You've got the audience, you just don't have the product there, right? So please get your product fixed. I won't be talking about what products to choose specifically and stuff like that. This is based around how to build a audience around your product and around your niche. Me, for example, my product that I'm selling through this content creation thing, Rory Makes Content, it's this course, you know, it is that my whole call to action is, my funnel is, you know, content at the top. And then I want to sell my course and consulting. I want to help businesses with consulting around their stuff. So those are the two things that I'm focused on. However, if I was just creating content and I didn't have anything to sell, bro. Step number one is to understand the platforms and the algorithm. If you've never been to TikTok and used it, then you're going to have no concept of how to create for that app. Boomers or millennials or Gen X or whatever come over from Facebook and they think they can just plonk the same old video with a millennial pause into TikTok and expect it to do well because things were just going viral for no reason 4 years ago. It ain't gonna happen. You've got to figure out the platform. It's like if you go to North Korea, right? You go there and if you're not familiar with their culture, then if you did something, it's gonna be out of whack and it's not gonna assimilate. I mean, North Korea is probably a really bad example, very extreme example, but TikTok is quite extreme, right? So you've got to understand how the platform works. You've got to distinguish the culture between them because there is a difference between the core 4, 5, 6 platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, X, Snapchat, MySpace. Rip. You got to understand the difference, and you got to understand how people consume content, and you got to understand the way the algorithm works. And I'm just going to sum this up really simply for you with the algorithm. With the algorithm, the entire focus of these apps and these products is to keep you on them for as long as possible so they can run more ads. That's how they make their money. YouTube made like $30 billion from ads last year. That's crazy. That's more than I make in a month. The longer they can keep you on there, they can serve you more ads and they can make more money. How do you get someone to stay on your platform longer? It is through audience satisfaction. The more someone is satisfied with something, the more they'll stick around. How do you determine satisfaction though? It's not just views, right? Because even if you get 100,000 views, but people flick off in 3 seconds, it's like it's not really worth it to them, right? Because think about it. If you're on an app and you just get bored, you're going to go off. You're going to go live your life. You're going to go touch grass. But the most important metric for satisfaction and for content, it's watch time. The longer you can get someone to watch a video, the more satisfaction they get, the more likely they are to keep watching. So that's how it's all based. So when you think of creating your content, when you think of the algorithm, firstly, if it's not getting served to people, it's usually because the video sucks. Sorry, it's just how it is. Or it's not hitting the right audience, or maybe it's an early account and it's just taking time, right? But once you learn these skill sets, you can create a video and you will know very quickly if it's going to do well or not, right? It's a skill that you build over time. And there's other things as well, you know, I'll just share one more. So when you're creating a video, the algorithm will do a test, right? It'll send it to, can't remember what the exact number of views is, but let's say there's different levels, right? Level 1, it'll send it to people, it'll test it like 300 views. If the video doesn't perform well, then it won't send it to anyone. Do not pass go, do not collect $200, straight to jail. Then it will test it at like 1,000, right? If that passes the test, then it will send it to more people. 10,000. Oh, okay, cool, it's working. We'll send it to more people, right? And the more it tests and the more it qualifies through this watch time metric and things like people engaging, sharing, liking, commenting, that sort of thing, repeat watches, then it will send it to more and more to the point where it goes viral. And that's how it works with pretty much all of the apps in their own individual way. Last thing I'll say there is when it comes to algorithm, forget the word algorithm, just think about audience, right? Because the algorithm is predicated on audience satisfaction. So just think, instead of, oh, I'm being shadow banned, just assume that your video is not performing well because the audience doesn't like it. Create for your audience, not the algorithm. Because the audience will take care of the algorithm. The algorithm will take care of the audience. But how do you play the algorithm game? Well, you got to make good videos. Makes sense, right? So to make a good video, first you have to understand the structure of a good video. And this is the basic structure, the anatomy of a good video. After we go through this, I'm going to show one of my videos and I'm going to break down the hook, the payoff, the story, the body, the isms, the CTA, the end bit, etc. I'll break it all down for you so you can see what it looks like in action. First is the hook. You got to stop the scroll. Grab attention, make people care, pattern interrupt. That's the most important thing, because if you don't stop the scroll, grab attention, then they'll just keep scrolling, right? It's a very short amount of time before people have to scroll. So you've got to get in there, right? Second, straight away you want to introduce a payoff or a stake. And this gives people a reason to stick around to the end of the video. You've probably seen something that's like, oh, it hooks your attention. You're like, nah, then you just scroll, right? Versus you scroll and you're like, oh, something piques your curiosity. You're like, oh, you want to find out what happens at the end. So you'll stick around for longer. So we introduce a payoff and stake. Then we have the story or the body. And this is where you just deliver the meat of the video. This is where you deliver the content. And in here, you can rehook. You can remind them of the payoff and stake. Right? But you've got to keep this bit interesting. I like to think of it as a slippery slope. The goal is to get down to the bottom, frictionless, and have a really good time. The next thing is this term I called isms. Maybe there's another term for it in the industry, but this is just what I choose to use. And an ism is where you add like pattern interrupts, quirks, Easter eggs, or things to create engagement, retention, or kind of glitch people, or like make them go, hold on a second. Will make them want to rewatch. Some examples of isms is one of my homies, Jorts. He does a great job. He'll put random things in his meals as he's cooking. I like to do random things like I drew a L and an R on my feet. And people are like, why has he got an L and an R on his feet? And I would comment and I'd be like, just in case I forget, you know? Or some people would blur their feet. Some people spell improperly on purpose to get a response for people like, hey, you spelt wrong. Because the more engagement you create through these isms, the more comments and everything like that, the more people are like, hey, why is nobody talking about blah? Then it just creates all these things. Cheeky little hack. I highly recommend introducing them. They don't have to be funny, but funny is better. You want to introduce a call to action. So it's not just like, by the way, guys, if you like this video, make sure you like, subscribe, and no. There's different ways to do it, special ways to do it. This is going to be based on your core outcome. You know, if it is a sales related video, you want your call to action to be built into it correctly. If you're using like ManyChat for automations, you can have the CTA built into there or in the description, or you can have it flash up for a second, or you can do it clever. Like there's lots of different ways, but it is important to have a call to action based in, especially if you're trying to sell stuff, but there is a way to do it. Because when people sense you're trying to sell something or that the video is ending soon, they will leave early. Which brings me to the next bit, the end bit. And this is where you deliver the payoff. You deliver on the promise, the stake with the promise. Or you can add a twist where something happens and you're like, wow, I was not expecting that. That makes them want to rewatch. What you want to do this because this creates satisfaction, encourages people to keep following you. I had a video where I set people up. I was like, check out the glitch in this game, right? And it was like a minute video. I was skating up to it in this game, and at the end I did the glitch, right? It's not really a glitch in comparison to Skate 3. And this was like on a rollerblading game, which I'm a former world record holder on a speedrun, by the way. Yeah, did the glitch, and people were like, wow, I wasted a minute of my life for nothing. So 400,000 views, and I didn't even gain 100 followers from it. Whereas a video for me, like a good one, 2 million views, can do upwards of like 6,000 or 10,000 followers, depending, you know, between one to those. So yeah, it's crazy. So you've got to have satisfaction. And with YouTube, one of the things that determines whether people click on your video or not is their experience of watching a previous video. People don't realize that. Same with these apps. If they're used to seeing you and you're like, I don't like this guy, then it just won't show you to them. So you're going to create that satisfaction. So that's the overall anatomy. When you apply this correctly, you can create virality. There's other elements to it as well. Sound design, you can add things like looping, you can utilize the caption description differently. There's a bunch of other stuff, but this is the core stuff that you really want to know about. After you understand how to make a good video. Now we add rocket fuel to it with a signature series. So imagine not just one good video, but imagine a lot of those good videos. And imagine people watching something and then like, oh cool, I like this. And then they binge a whole bunch of your content. Because when someone watches one video, it's hard to get to know someone. It's hard to connect. But if they watch multiple of your videos, the algorithm's going to be like, oh cool, this person likes, I'm going to keep sending it. That's the first thing. Secondly is they're spending more time with you. The more someone spends time with you, the more they know, like, and trust you, as they say, the less friction there is to buying. At any one time, there's like 3% of the audience that's ready to buy, right? But out of that 3%, most will need 7 to 12 touch points before they buy. What we're doing is we're increasing the time we spend with people by getting them to come back for more. I'll go through a couple of series examples so you can see what I mean. You've seen my series, obviously, it's a day one of format, and I'll go through the different types in a sec. But this is a great format by Joey Wellness, and he shows you exactly how much sugar is in these things. It's very great visually. We've got the School of Hard Knocks. Old mate, he's done a great job building a fantastic platform. He took a format that worked from other people, like the Daniel Mack guy who would go up to people in their cars, hey, what do you do for a living? And this guy brought his own thing. He focused on education and like life lessons, and they're really insightful. And I stop and I watch every single one because he interviews like billionaires and all these people, everyday people as well that are successful as business owners, and there's always value. And this guy's done a great job. Another example of one that follows on is like Caleb Simpson too. SB Mowing, and he shows a day in the life. He shows basically what he does for a business and his service. He just goes around to abandoned houses or houses that are a little bit overgrown with their yard, and he mows it for free for them. Great promotion. He probably owns way more of these videos than he does his actual mowing business, but he's got millions of followers, right? And all he does is very satisfying. I have probably spent more time watching these at some stages than actually mowing my lawn. But it's a great way to build an interest in what you do. And I've seen it for everything that's in the similar niche, like pressure washing, cleaning, glasses cleaning. If you can show a before and after transformation and the process through it, can be applied to anything. It's incredible. Really great series that he's done. And then here, Connor Price, one of the best series, I think, of all time. He's one of the biggest artists now that have come from TikTok recently, especially rap artists. He's got a really great series. It follows the format really well. Check it out. So his whole series was, I'm going to spin the globe, whatever place I land on, I'll do a collab. He's got some, songs that have tens of millions of streams on Spotify, which is crazy. In fact, he actually makes more money than some top artists because he's an independent creator. So he's done a really great job. So that's just a couple of examples of series. Let's get into the benefits of them a little bit more. It gives a viewer an incentive to binge more of your content, like I said. They come back for more. Better for you, better for them, better for the algorithm. It can be memorable as well. If you have a great structured series, great format, it's easier for people to remember you. So for example, if someone's seeing have you seen the guy that goes up and asks people what they do for a living? It's easy for people to start to search that and to find who you are. And then eventually they're like, oh, that guy. And they get to know your name. We want to get to a stage where we're known for like one word or one phrase, right? Cody Sanchez, boring businesses. Hermosi, never skips dessert. Simone Yetch, silly robots. Coffeezilla, that guy that exposes scams. Both ways between long form and short form too. And all of this applies to a degree in its own way between short form and long form, right? They all follow similar formats but with different nuances. So we want to be referred to that person that. Hey, have you seen that meat guy or that guy that's doing the carnivore diet for 30 days to reverse these health conditions? Oh, that's a really cool story, easy to remember. So you want to be referred to that person that, and creating a series is a great way for people to remember you. Don't you think it's much easier to people be like, oh, have you seen that guy that's testing affiliate marketing side hustles versus, did you see that guy that did the video that was like, hey, here are 3 tips to grow an affiliate marketing business? People spend more time with you, which increases your brand equity for future monetization opportunities. Just like I said before, the more people know, like, and trust you, the more likely they are to buy. More touch points. It's a very simple framework, very simple to follow, and it's a great context to create content from. It's basically a very easy way to package existing knowledge. A signature series can create explosive growth when done right. All you need is one of these videos to pop off and it can change your life overnight. It happens for some people. You look at the looking for a man in finance chick. Totally just blew up from one video, right? That wasn't even a series. Well, it kind of became a series of like, testing that song. But then, you know, one video example wasn't a series, but the Hawk Tour girl, right? One video took off. Her life has, you know, been changed forever. She's making bank. Good on her. Yeah. All it takes. And there are different types of signature series as well, right? These are just a couple. There's a whole bunch more, and I obviously go into these in my course. In my course, I've got all sorts of templates. I've got hundreds of examples, hundreds of different hooks. I've just got so much stuff in there. Day one off. You document a daily journey to achieve a goal, like my series, right? Day one, I call it a day one of, or a daily. A part one of. It can be the similar format to documenting your journey, but this is at your own pace. Doing a daily is hard work, man. Especially when you spend hours on the content like I do. If you've got low lift stuff, not a biggie, because then you can split it out at your own pace. You can also do this for a show type format, and I'll show you a couple of different examples in 3 different niches after. This is another one. It's like a will it, right? Testing if a certain outcome will happen from doing a certain action. Who pioneered this? Good Mythical Morning. Will it hot dog? And so testing if different things will hot dog. A guy that's done a great series that's been blowing up recently, will it sourdough? And he tests weird things and see if it is sourdough. I said to one of my clients who's got a cookie business, and I said, you gotta do a will it cookie thing, and you gotta test all these weird cookie flavors. Versus or. So this is where you compare different things and you give you a different expert opinion on them. So for example, one of my favorite examples of a versus or is from Noah Polo. Fantastic series. He blew up over 1 million followers in 30 days. 1.7 million, I don't know, some crazy number that he did. Just absolute numbers, ran the numbers. But this is his series. So all he's doing is comparing the caloric difference between one thing and the other. What an incredible thing for an app to do. Imagine if like MyFitnessPal or whatever the other healthy food apps are out there, the calorie counting. Imagine if they did something like that. That'd be wild, right? All right, this one here, it's a bit of a mouthful. It can be done in these different ways, right? They're all kind of essentially the same thing, but with a different hook. Recreating or X but Y, or if X was Y. So a recreating, it's when you take something people are familiar with and you do it in your own way and make it related to your niche. The best example that I saw recently, it was like a full, what was it? No, it was totally different. That was on YouTube. It was of a guy who completely recreated the Harry Potter movie, but like super budget. That's a great example. And if he did that for all sorts of movies, mate, he's on his way. But recreating, so let's say recreating junk food packaging, but healthy. X but Y, so painting a picture of Muhammad Ali, but I'm painting it with a glove. Very clever. Or if X was Y. I've written something for the if X was Y a little bit down the track. Another one is ism based. So you use quirks to draw people's attention to your content, and then you have them stay to love your personality. So once you build that equity with audience and people know, like, and trust you and familiar with you, then you can just kind of create content and people trust. Great example of that is Jordan the Stallion. He would make videos, and he still does, where he's just speaking in the camera and he's in the bathroom and then he zooms in and he says, come here. And you're like, oh, cool. That got me interested, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. That was really different. And that ism-based thing, that hook, right, just drew people in, and it's got a huge audience. Another one is countdown. I don't see this a lot, but it's like the day one of, but you're counting backwards to a specific goal. And so many more, which are all in the course right here under the signature series method area. And if you go under here, right, the types of series, and I'm constantly adding, you've got the 365-day series, we've got follower farming series, which is a whole other story. Next, we're gonna jump into a couple of examples. Here's how you can use these exact series format that I talked to you about, but in different niches, so you can see how it could apply to your business. And one thing that I didn't mention earlier, but I should now, is that when you're creating content, it's good to be familiar with what's going on the platforms, what top performing things are, what people are doing, and you can get ideas from them, right? You can take an idea from someone else. It's like, oh, how much do you make? It's like, oh, how much do you pay for rent? Oh, how much do you feed your animals each month or something? So you just bring it across into your niche. You have to recreate it in your own personalized, creative and unique way. You need to make it your own, right? If it means you have to lose stuff, or if it means you have to kick a format, keep it your own. Or directly credit and make it really obvious that you're crediting that person. Someone that credited a series really well and took off even more for them was Angelo. He did a Kardashian series, and the idea he got from someone else, which was this guy. They both did well, but Angelo took it and he was constantly, initially, right, but until he owned it, the format was he was constantly crediting in the captions. So someone can take your series idea, they can make it better, and they can go even bigger. This is chronic fatigue coaching, right? Can be applied to coaching, all sorts of things. Day 1 of napping whenever my body wants to heal my nervous system. Part 1 of nervous system practices for newbies. Part 1. Will it regulate or will it ventral vagal? So you test if or will I take a deep spontaneous breath, which I'm just about to do. Great regulation tool. You know that your nervous system is easing in when you do that. So testing if practices and products will help to regulate the nervous system. And this is perfect for someone trying to teach and get into a course, right? Or into coaching. Showing people how versus, so you show people how they react in different situations when in sympathetic, parasympathetic. So it could either be before and then after, or you can run it either side by side. Someone gets pulled, cut in on the traffic, right? Show someone in sympathetic versus parasympathetic. And it's a great way to communicate something. The recreating people's emotional breakdowns from movies, but showing how they could do it or respond if they had emotional regulation tools. Ism based. So in all the videos, you could do something that elicits a deep spontaneous breath. So if people know, whenever I talk about it, oh, so good. You know, you could create like an ism around that where people know that in each of your videos, you're going to do a deep spontaneous breath, and it encourages them. By the way, use these ideas. They're yours. Please. Free. You can count down if you've got a book, count down the days until your book launches. Graphic design. Day 1 of designing logos until one of the companies hires me. Something like that. Needs a better hook, but you know, if you're designing logos every day for different popular companies or companies that you want to work with, Atlassian, Remedy Kombucha, we've got Adidas, Feastables, whatever. Whoever you want to work with, design stuff for different companies every day, tag them, and do a series until one of them hires you. Guarantee within 365 days you'll have a dream job. Photoshopping myself into photos with celebrities, part 1. This worked very well for Kirby Jenner. Ended up getting his own series on Quibi or something like that, called Kirby Jenner, before that app went bankrupt. But he made it look like he was the hidden Kardashian. This was a series that was on a photo format, but this can be applied across all the different formats, right? Will it healthy? You know, so testing if a brand that creates unhealthy products, if that product can be made healthy. Needs a better name, but I just whipped this one up. Versus, so comparing a company's first ever logo versus their most recent one and all the ones in between. Really great format. Recreating, again, that one, movie posters, but if they were made in the 1950s. Or recreating popular brands' logos with Microsoft Paint. That kind of a thing. Ism based. You can 3D print or print the design. So let's say you've made a design, right? Or you're talking something, and maybe right at the beginning as a hook, the ism can be at the hook at the start. You're talking about the latest Deadpool Wolverine movie that's out and it's just crushing the box office. You could print something out as you're talking. So like the strategy is called Pope in the Pool. I think it's a stupid name. We've got to think of a different one. But that's where you are doing something non-related to what you're speaking about, but it's keeping people engaged. And people do this all the time, right? And this can be the foundation for a series. If you're doing this Pope in the Pool thing, let's say in your series, the ism is, you know, you're dunking tea bags in and you're just looking at the camera the whole time and it's just like gossip or relationship advice, you know, the tea. And you're just speaking to the camera. Have you ever wondered why he looks at you that way? And you just constantly do that, right? That's a great ism. But if you printed out a movie poster, right, and the whole thing, as you are talking about graphic design, you are actually just printing movie posters the whole time. That's what you're doing. So you end up using the vehicle of the visual stuff to grab people on, and then the audio stuff is what the actual meat is. I hope this is making sense. Look, a great example of this is videos by Max the Meat Guy. So in this video, he is talking about his experience teaching language overseas, English overseas, I think it was, whilst he's doing meat. So check it out for a quick little sample. Countdown, you can count down the days until a specific rebrand happens. You get the point there. And then the last one is series ideas for protein supplements. So you can do a trying to lose 10 pounds before my wedding in 3 weeks by drinking weight loss shakes once a day. You feature your protein in there, right? Make it very clear, put your protein in. Part 1 of adding an extra 25 gram of protein to meals to meet my macros, something like that. We've got a Will It smoothie, you know, test all these different smoothie combinations. Add your protein to it. Whey versus no whey, whey or no whey, and you do specific gym workout with and without protein or something like that. Maybe that's a bad idea for the gym wise, but if you did something like that where you compare, if you do like a pre-workout product, you can compare a workout with pre-workout versus no pre-workout, or with smelling salts versus without smelling salts. You get the point. Recreating smoothies from movies with protein. You know, if you see a shake like in Pulp Fiction, you could be like, all right, cool, let's make the shake from Pulp Fiction. Right? Ism based. This is where you do something, you know, an example could be you are doing pull-ups. You position the camera. Imagine this is the pull-up bar right here, right? And then the camera is situated here. And so I'm pulling up like, so one thing people don't know about losing weight is, or gaining muscle, is you've got to do the same thing every day, right? So that ism, if you do that in every single video, people will know you as that person, right? And then you can switch it up a little bit. Or maybe at the start of videos, you can what did I write? Dry scoop protein into your mouth and then try to do the video. Oh my goodness, ridiculous. You know, you can count down the days until you meet CBum or do a bodybuilding comp. Or even better is like, oh, not better, it's just different, but after the bodybuilding comp, it could be like day 1 until I can finally have a cheat, 30 days until I can have a cheat meal. And people are like, why does he want a cheat meal? And then it just tells this whole story, and then it gets a follow-up. And then you can build something on there for as well. It's like day 30, like day, and then you're explaining, all right, I'm doing this bodybuilding comp and I've been really strict this whole time and I can't wait. Day 29, you know, 29 days until blah, 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 until I can have a cheat meal. Now, I'm just gonna start thinking about cheat meals. What kind of cheat meal would I like? And you can just build a storyline into that series. So that's just a sample of it. I hope that gave you a couple of little ideas. And within the course, within there, series samples and ideas, you jump in, series examples, little googly doc, and you can see all of these different examples of different series. You know, you can see Cook, you can see Nicholas Crown.
I'm sorry, sir.
You can see his rich versus really rich. And this is something I'm constantly updating as well. So you don't have to think about all the ideas yourself. There is a resource there to make it easier for you. Now that you know what a series looks like, you can actually go through in this research part, and anytime you see a video, just make a note. That's a series, just make a note, right? Because you'll be able to discern now, oh, this is a series, right? A lot of your favorite creators have done series and you might not even know it. So save the ones you like. So now you're familiar with the content side. Let's go back in and let's research your niche. You want to do research on the core 2 to 3 platforms, right? Instagram, TikTok, and even YouTube as well. You go in there and there's a process for all of them, right? Firstly, we want to understand our niche and who are the top dogs. Who's playing the game well in our niche, and we want to write that down. We want to be clear. We want to know, okay, what are their top performing videos? Why are they working so well? What is the hooks? What is the payoffs? What is the, are there any isms? You know, you want to break it down with this knowledge that you now have. Let's say you're doing the carnivore diet. You would search in TikTok here, and let's find out who is top of the game. You type in here, you look at videos, and then you see, okay, these are top performing carnivore videos. Perfect, this is what it naturally suggests. But what you can do is you can take a little bit further and you can sort by like count. So then you see the top performing carnivore videos. Hey, it's your boy. This was done a little while ago, so I don't know if it's still accurate. Probably not. You know, you can also filter by users. You can see who has more than 100K, and boom, it gives you that. But then also what you want to do is there's this thing called seasoning where you create a fresh account, it's almost like a spy account for your niche, and you season the For You page or the feed so that you only see your niche. So then you see new competitors, you see existing top of the game, you see what's working, and you see what's up and coming, and you get ideas and what people are talking about. It's a really great way to spy on your competitors, really know what other people are doing, you know, in the game, what's working, and also to get great research on stuff to talk about. So here is an example. Question, I want to do a carnivore diet. Can I include fish, crawfish, etc., or just red meat? That, if you look, if there's a lot of comments, you know, a lot of people commenting the same thing, or a lot of people liking it, that could potentially justify a video, you know? So a great way. But through this, you also get to find inside jokes. You get to see how your audience interacts, what they like, what they don't like. You get great feedback on what your audience likes through doing this. And also through the seasoned account process, you get to learn what stuff your audience follows, right? And there are different things like TikTok and YouTube, I think Instagram does now, they suggest content that your competitors are making for you to watch, and also what is your audience watching. Literally, it's like, hey, your audience also watches these guys, so you can suss that out, right? So powerful. People don't take it seriously enough. So you definitely want to research, in my opinion. I'm constantly, you know, when I'm on the apps, I'm saving stuff for series so I can put it in my course. I'm saving stuff for ideas, trends, if there's stuff like that. It's a great way to do it. After that, you want to put your video out there. You want to create it. Get cranking. Get filming, get editing. Right? Simple as that. I won't go into it in detail here. This is more about the strategy behind it. Then you want to launch. Publish it, go live, baby. Repurpose, make sure you put it across all the core platforms. If you want to do in Snap and X, that's fine, go for it. Again, MySpace, RIP, doesn't exist, move on. Bro, come on. The emo days are gone. And then after you've launched, you want to analyze and adjust your content. Because when we're analyzing our content, and we're looking at the data behind it, we can understand why something performs, why it doesn't, and then how we can adjust, how soon we need to adjust, how soon if we need to pivot completely, if we need to drop a series, or if we need to double down. We don't know that unless we actually analyze and we look in the analytics. For example here, this was an integration, an ad that I did well on a sales front, but from a video performance, very poorly. And you can see why here. Look, people dropped off because they're like, oh, it's an ad, bro. Bro, I'm out, right? And then you see here, like they just drop off. Do you think TikTok is going to be happy sending that to people? Absolutely not. Unfortunately, I thought it was all that in a bag of potato chips, or all that in a bag of carnivore crisps, but it wasn't. You know, we make mistakes sometimes, we lose. This was over a year ago, before I'd really started breaking apart why what I was doing was working. I did make an ad though that did really well. 2 million views on YouTube because I followed the perfect video formula really well. And I do a breakdown of that in the course, but you can check it out. It's like my day 100 of the carnivore diet. So based on that, if we look at the data, all right, we get to understand, oh yeah, cool. That is because I did a call to action there, or I introduced a product. It was a hard sell, and then there was another call to action. You're out. Here, that was a call to action right there. People thought the video was ending, so they jumped off. This is almost 10 million view video, by the way. Great retention, great length. But what happened is it dropped off quicker. If I would have fixed that bit, or if I knew that that's what was gonna happen, then I think that video could be on at least 12 million views. That little leg can make the whole difference, right? The whole difference. And there are also things within metrics that help you learn more about your followers. Like, what time are they live on social media? So then you can post at these times. What gender are they? Are they male or female? What age are they? Where in the world are they? You get to learn all these statistics. What percentage of followers are you sending it out to? So by going through this analytics process across the different apps, you can get a really good idea. So very, very underrated looking at the analytics. And then step 8, Lambo. No, jokes aside, let's talk about monetization now. Just super briefly though, because this is not focused on monetization, it's focused on building an audience and driving traffic to your already existing product or service. So this is the core monetization strategies when it comes to being a content creator. Is the core one, selling your own product or service, number 1, right? Number 2 is usually sponsorships. Number 3 is affiliate marketing. Number 4 is AdSense. Those are your core 4. This should be number 1, always, in my opinion, unless that's all you want to do. People make really great money. Some people make multiple 7 figures just with that. Multiple 8 figures. I'm looking at you, Mr. Beast, just with those. So very powerful, but again, you want to figure out your own product or service. The way to sell your stuff in your videos is, firstly, I'd recommend building your entire content strategy around your products. It's so easy to build niche series ideas around this. Really great example is Elijah, the hot sauce guy. Another great example is also the Marshmallow Co. Brookie Bakery. Their entire content strategy is around their products. Also Blogilates. Her entire content strategy now is around the journey of building her startup, you know, that sells clothes. All she does is sell her clothes by talking about how she's building clothes. It's genius. And if you look at Logan Paul and Knowledge, they are constantly promoting Prime all the time in their stuff. Their whole thing is built around it. It's a whole thing around it. So build your strategy around your products. Integrate them as many products as you can. At the moment, Jake Paul is launching his brand W. And if you have a look at all of his content, he's wearing shirts that have W. It's branded here and there and everything. He's using that omnipresence. Talk about that in the description. Look, you know, this is an added bonus. You want the video to focus on selling, but this is an added bonus for Reels specifically, because people are conditioned to read captions there, and then secondary TikTok, people don't read captions on the other ones. You know, you can create a ManyChat automation on IG, very effective for selling. That's where you get people to comment something like cat, and I'll send you my guide for homeopathy for your cat. I saw one guy, he is like a great creator, and he actually did an ism or a funny CTA, and that was comment giat, and I'll send you a guide. And then he just had all these people comment, which boosted the video and sent it to more people. And never shut up about your products. Just keep going. Another thing that not a lot of people talk about is send people into your newsletter further into your funnel. This is a very great way to build a business and underrated. And this is what Cody Sanchez, Noah Kagan, Smart Nonsense, a stack of other people do, is they focus on trying to drive people into their newsletter, right? They use the content as the front face to try and sell into the newsletter. Now let's dive into some advanced content strategies. This is not for the faint-hearted or for the newbies. This is for someone that is a bit more of a seasoned creator. Series stacking. And this is where you've got not just one series running, but two series running at the same time. 3 examples. One is cook. Cook. So he does this guy's, I remember he was blowing up and he actually inspired me to do food content. I was like, well, if he can blow up, I can blow up. And he does a whole bunch of different series, which you would have seen, like rating food around the world, cooking basics for students. Actually, I've got a list of them here. Let me just quickly bring that one up. And if you have a look under here, we've got series stacking and we've got cook, you know, top 50 childhood dishes. The world, oh yeah, actually, no, I was going to show you this way. So you look, top 50 child comfort dishes. We've got, that series is going around. Food tour, you know. We've got another one, what's the best thing to have on bread? That's a new series doing well. We've got breakfast around the world again. We've got food rap battles as a new series. So he does a great job with those series. Another example is Isaiah Photo. He is got some good series as well. Let's jump over here. Currently he's got running. Shoes, see, he's got the versus thing. Crocs versus fastest running shoe. He's testing those different things. You know, comparing them. $300 shoes versus spikes. He's got a 24 hours straight series that he does. Lots of verses at the moment, right? That's kind of his current meta, it seems, for some of them. What did I say the other style was? I tried, you know, can I X before Y? So can I run a marathon before X happens? You know, adding stakes into it as well. So, yeah, a couple of clever examples there. The other example that I wanted to show you around this is actually, don't recommend doing this. It's crazy. You know, your series stacking daily series. Jesse Ford, prime example. This fella, in 72 days, he gained over 1 million followers between the platforms using the signature series method. It was a great series to watch. He did a fantastic job. He started off doing ice baths, right? It was very cool watching it in real time. But then what bro did was he stacked it with another daily series, right?
Day 1 of doing 1 push-up for every 1,000 followers. We're currently at 3,000. That's 3 push-ups. Let's go. All right, I'll see you tomorrow.
10 million views on this. With one of these videos, I can't remember which one it was, he literally got like 200,000 subscribers on his own through YouTube from one video, from one short. So he series stacked, and then eventually he added 2 more ones towards the end, which is crazy, before he wrapped up his series. But yeah, it's pretty nuts. So that is a great growth strategy, you know, but you got to have a lot of time up your sleeve, in my opinion. Or if you are hiring someone to do it for you, then make that their job, you know, just series stack. So I hope you're still with me. If you are, thank you. Firstly, have something to sell. Second is know your intention behind your content series. If you have something to sell, then you're gonna make money. If you don't have anything to sell, you won't make any money. Know your intention behind your content and series. And then understanding the platforms and the algorithm. Very important to understand the culture, understand the algorithm, which is basically watch time. Then you want to learn the structure of the good video. The hooks, the payoffs, the story, the ism, the CTAs, the end bit. Bring it all together and then create a signature series. So you're not just got one viral video popping off, but you've got potential multiples. You want to research your niche. You want to be very clear on who's performing at the top. You want to also know what is working. You want to know what your audience is watching, and you want to get very familiar with your audience. And then create and post your videos, read analytics, get feedback, adjust. Lambo. Questions? I hope you gained a lot of value out of this. I tried to make this as comprehensive as I could for a short month. I mean, it's over now. It was supposed to be like 50 minutes or something like that. If you implement this, you can get great results too. If you want to take things further, if you want to learn all the things, remember, I have nothing to sell you. I'm sorry. Except for my course. So this course, it is my Reels and Talks course. All the information is on rorybland.com/course. I won't do the big long pitch at the end. I probably should, but you can check it out on the website. All the different intricacies that I've mentioned. Hey, look, let's jump on the landing page. Why not? Screw it. Let's just jump over and have a squiz. So, you know, the page may or may not look like this after, but we'll just skip down here, skip the sales pitch. We already know, mate. We're already there. But we go through, we do the pre-work, we learn about mindset stuff, we go deeper into monetization, personal branding, what to do before and after your video goes viral. We look at understanding the platforms, you know, the comments section, you learn about the different platforms, setting up the branding, all that jazz. And we go into anatomy of the video. Remember those examples that I've got? You got all, baby, they're all yours. No worries, no hurries. We go into all of that. I also do breakdowns of my most viral videos as well. Really in-depth breakdowns. We've got the research component, so I show you how to create a seasoned account versus non-seasoned. We research together. It's very fun and very interesting. Creating a signature series. Then we create a signature series. We look at all the things around it. There's different types. There's like so many examples and ideas here as well that you can steal and draw inspiration from. Then there's other stuff around content creation, right? I didn't know where else to put this section, so we're just chucking it there for now. But this is Reels and TikToks every business needs. So lots of different examples of individual ones, you know, pinning them, the sub-account strategy we go into further, EGC, like employee generated versus UGC and why it's better, more video, gosh. You're going to be the king or queen of video ideas after this and different strategies. It's really insightful. And then we go into the basics of filming and editing, different editing software I recommend, video styles as well, some examples on how you can put it together, batch filming, recording. Then we look at publishing. You know, there's a checklist of all the things that you need to know, how to repurpose, when to repurpose, what to repurpose, and scheduling tools. We'll talk about turning your series into a compilation for more views and money. Then we analyze and adjust. And there is, of course, a bunch of bonuses because I would not be a devout student of Alex Hormozi or Russell Brunson without having some bonuses. But there are bonuses in there, but you don't know what they are because they're in there and it's special and they're bonuses. So rather than flaunting them, they're just in there somewhere. So that's what you get. You get a lot of stuff. So if you do get the course, great. If you don't get the course, I will find you.